And we are on. Hey everybody, this is KCR College Radio. You're listening to the award-winning Sound of State here at San Diego State University. If you are living on campus or in the San Diego County, you can tune in at AM 1610. For everybody else, you can tune in at kcrlive.com or download the TuneIn app or iOS, Android devices. You can tune in there and look up KCR College Radio. We are always worldwide and online 24/7. You can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, even Snapchat and YouTube. Just look up KCR College Radio. My name is Tishmora, and I'm your host for this evening, and this is my entertainment talk show, Tishtalk, where each week I talk about a topic in entertainment, grab a couple of my friends, 2, 3, or maybe just like one, and we talk for the hour about that topic. And so, this week, if you couldn't already tell with this music that's going on in the background, it's Disney. We have a lot of Disney news that I want to talk about, and I think this episode's going to be pretty special because I'm joined with my oldest friend here in the studio, and I'm going to introduce you here for tonight. This is Rachel Cuizon. Say hi, Rachel.
Hey, everyone.
Hello. So usually what I have my guests do, I have them, obviously introduce yourself. Basically, what are you up to? What school you came from, since you are not an Aztec, and how we know each other.
All right. So I am Rachel. I graduated from Cal Poly SLO. I am a San Diego native, so I just moved back. And me and Tisha go way back, all the way back to kindergarten.
Yes, we've known each other, and I had to calculate it earlier because I cannot math for 18 years. That's insane. That's crazy. We literally have pictures of each other when we were babies. I think the last time I was over at your house, one of your aunties was like, "Oh yeah, you're an old friend of Rachel's." I was like, "Yeah." And then your mom came up and she was like, "Oh, my hi auntie, how are you?" And she's like, "Oh yeah. Now I remember, you're the little girl from that picture in the Halloween party from a long time ago on the refrigerator, the little princess girl with the fairy wings." Yep. I was like, "That's me. Yeah, that's me. You're right."
We look the same.
We do look the same. Not back then though, because you had the Cleopatra bangs.
That's true. I
had
had
like
bowl cut.
Big. Yeah, it was great though. It was so cute. So tonight we're talking about Disney, and I feel like in our childhood we grew up with a lot of it. So, I guess there's so many questions. I think we'll talk about the most recent news of it first, and it's that Lion King 2019 casting. Yes. I know I had a lot of questions about it too, but for those of you who have not seen it, it's an all-star cast. You have Childish Gambino as Simba. You have Beyonce Knowles as Nala. You have the only, I think he's the only original person from the cast, from the original animated. You have James Earl Jones, who originally played Mufasa, so the original voice will be in it. Chiwetle, can't say. What movie is he from? The guy who's playing Scar. I can probably retweet it at sometime at one point. Chiwetle Ejiofor. I'm butchering that. He was in stuff, and I can't remember. He was in Doctor Strange. He was the
second lead guy.
Yeah, second lead guy. He's the one who trains Benedict Cumberbatch's character, and eventually, I'm assuming he goes rogue, because he goes rogue essentially. You have Alfrea Woodard. I'm butchering all their names. I'm sorry. She plays Sarabi. The only thing I recognize her from was from she have you seen Luke Cage on Netflix?
Oh yes.
Yeah, she was like the mayor, or like the cousin, right? Do you remember? Because it was like there was Cottonmouth, who was like the gangster dude that was essentially like the main antagonist, and then you had his cousin, who was just kind of like the political figure of the town. I'm gonna play some other stuff while we kind of... There you go. Let's do a little bit of some scores. There you go. But yeah, she's in Luke Cage, if anyone remembers. And then you have John Oliver as Zazu, some other big names: Eric Andre as Aziz, Florence Kasumba as Senzi, Keegan-Michael Keegan as Kamari, and Seth Rogen as Pumbaa, and Billy Eichner as Timon. I think he was on Parks and Rec. He looks real familiar.
Maybe if I saw his picture.
Yeah, I texted it to you. Oh. I'll retweet it too at one point. But yeah, it's an all-star cast, and I know I saw somebody like tweeting about, oh, we are going to get a Childish Gambino and Beyonce cover of Can You Feel the Love Tonight? And that's insane to me. I'm like, yo, that's going to be a really, really good like crossover and just like movie in general.
Yeah.
And so
maybe he'll remix it too.
I hope so. That'd be pretty cool. Honestly, I went on Twitter and it's like not everyone's excited about it. And I'm like, why not? I just retweeted it for everyone who's listening. Also, that's something I forgot to do. If you want to follow me at and throughout the show and tweet me any questions or comments or topics that you want us to cover, trust me, I have a lot, but we can do a whole lot more if need be. You can follow me at KCR Tishtalk. That's KCRTISH Talk. I am on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Or if you go on YouTube, you can listen to all of my past recordings from the summer and the spring. And if you want, you can also call in. We have a studio phone. It's 619-594-6982. Definitely call in so you can kind of talk with us about all this Disney stuff, because trust me, we have a whole lot. Also, I just also saw on Twitter from one of my friends, Malia. Shout out to Malia. She says that apparently Dapper Day is this weekend. Have you ever done that?
No, I haven't.
No. So for those of you guys who don't know what Dapper Day is, it's basically like people go to Disneyland super, super dressed up all fancy and stuff like that, really cute kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I have friends who do that. I, for one, cannot afford to go to Disneyland, so I'm not one of them. But I've seen pictures and stuff like that, and a lot of people are like really do like really, really cute stuff. Like they, I had a friend of mine from my unit, him and his girlfriend, now fiance, dressed up as like Donald and Daisy, and it was like really dapper, kind of like 1920-ish kind of thing. So
because that's how they used to do their grad nights, where it was like an
really
actual.
Yeah, why didn't we do that? Speaking of grad night. Rachel and I went to the same high school, obviously, and so our senior year back in 2013, we went to Disneyland for grad night. I want to say we had the short end of the stick, though.
We did. We
because that wasn't fair what happened.
Yeah, last minute decisions that Disneyland decided to hold. What is it? It's called like a late night pass.
It was like their summer nights where on the exact day where our high school and a bunch of other high schools were given the clearance to be there. And this was already planned out for like months, but Disney was like, oh, no, we're going to do that day. They had opened up the park to everyone. And the special thing about grad night is like you're there after hours and no one else is there except for you and like the employees. But instead, they had everyone there and everybody. It was the first night, so everyone was there. Like I remember when I was there with my friends, we really only went to a few rides in Disneyland, and then we kind of all like dispersed because like my group of friends, it's a bunch of us. Yeah. And then we really did a lot more in California. And I guess the nice thing that's different is that there was a bunch of like little dance floors throughout it. That was kind of fun. Did you do any of that?
Yeah. And I think they did kick us out of Disneyland. That's why we all had to get pushed.
See, I think what they did is because they opened up Disney, but then they closed off a certain section of California for us.
Yes.
But it was still kind of like, that's kind of lame.
Yeah. And then it was still, because we only had the certain section, everything was long lines.
Yeah, it was. Like, it was crazy long. And that was also around the time where Cars Land was still pretty new, too.
Yes. Yeah, I didn't go on that.
You didn't? I think I went on it like
too long.
Once. We went on the big... I remember the line that was really long was the tractor cow thingies. I think those were the bumper cars.
Yeah.
But we all managed to wait in line for the really long, like, racing one.
Yeah.
So that was fun. That wasn't too bad.
Yeah. And we also had, shout out to Alex Sainz, but she was in a wheelchair at that time because she sprained her ankle.
Oh,
and then so we got to cut a couple lines. Okay. So that was the bonus. But other than that, we didn't ride much.
Thank you for your sacrifice, Alex. Appreciate you. All right, so we have so many questions. First of all, I want to give out a mad shout out to there's this, and I know I've said it a lot of times on my shows. They're regulars on my show. There is this podcast called the We Stay Late podcast. Shout out to We Stay Late, and they have a Slack, which is an app, and basically it's like a free form app where it's a community of basically people who ever join, like all around the world. Like I have friends in Australia, I have friends in the UK, I have friends around in the nation, and they all kind of like tune in, and basically just us talking, keeping up with each other day to day. And so when I announced, because I go to them a lot for questions and everything, when I announced that we were going to do a Disney episode the other day, I got like bombarded with questions. So we have a lot of questions in both Twitter and also from the Slack, and it's a whole lot. So I feel like we'll have a lot of stuff to talk about. But I guess I'll start off with one though, because this is aside from the Slack people's. Our good friend Florvel One, she corrected me in my tweet because I put if in my tweet announcing our topic for this week, I accidentally put tonight, i.e., like yesterday. I meant to say tomorrow night. So that's my bad. So she caught me on that, thank God. But then she wanted to ask about our thoughts and expectations for The Lion King, the new remake, and what do we think, especially with this new casting coming out. So do you have any thoughts about it? Are you excited? Are you not? Or are there things that you're worried about?
And it's going to be like how the Jungle Book was remade, right?
I don't
So like
know.
the semi-live action, but CG.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I don't know if they are casting or if they have Jon Favreau as the director, and he's the one who did Jungle Book.
Right.
And I think to this day I actually haven't watched it yet. I know it's on Netflix. I just haven't got a chance to. I know.
What are you doing,
I know.
Tisha?
I should have prepared. But I know that movie was highly praised, and it was really, really good. For I think the first live action animated live action / CG, heavily CG movie. A lot of people were really happy with it, and so I hope that's the same way. With this one,
because I think visually wise, it was more appealing. Because I didn't get the chance to watch it in the movie theaters, but my parents, because we're movie people, we bought it on DVD, I guess Blu-ray is the correct terminology nowadays. But still, just even at home, like the amount of I don't know, I guess effort they put into just the background made it that much more special. I guess. Yeah. So I guess if they do that with Lion King as well, I think I'd be pretty excited about that.
It looks like from their casting alone, it looks like I feel like with the cast that they got, they have a lot of money to make it. And I think it's because that rides off of the success that was Jungle Book. Because that was really the first really, really big, like, in terms of, like, talking animals, it being real life. I think that's the first one. Because, like, the other ones you have, like, Maleficent, like, Cinderella. And there are characters, like, CGI characters that talk, but they're not, like, the main focus of it kind of thing. And I feel like these movies are heavily reliant on it, so I think they really needed to put a lot of money into their voice actors, which looks fantastic. So I'm excited. I'm personally really excited for it. So yeah. So thanks, Flo. Like I said, if you guys have any more questions or topics, even though we have a whole lot, definitely send it my way. But on the topic of kind of like older movies, I have a question from Colby Complains, and he asked, what Disney Renaissance movie has the best score? Which is perfect because both of us are old-time band nerds. And he asks, and why is it Hunchback? So, yeah, I thought that was actually kind of perfect because I know that growing up, both of you and I had music classes for a very long time. Yes. So, did we both start off playing clarinet?
Yep.
Yeah, we did. So, back in kindergarten... No.
Oh, well, I guess that's called the recorder.
The recorder. Yeah. No, but then we got to choose between the flute and the clarinet. Yes. And then we both chose clarinet. And then down the line, we did like singing and then we did other stuff. And then at one point in middle school, we were on clarinet. And I think it wasn't until high school. Was it middle school or high school that you jumped onto the sax?
It was 8th grade.
8th grade.
So,
so yeah.
End of.
Mm-hmm. But we were both in advanced band because we moved up really early on, I think in 7th grade. No? Because we were in it for like 2 years.
Yeah.
7th
grade.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
So we knew a lot about like Disney, or not Disney, but like scores and like music and stuff like that, composition and stuff like that for a very, very long time.
And I also, at Cal Poly, I ended up taking a film music class.
Oh yeah, that's right.
My very last quarter there. It was amazing. Honestly, I think it changed my mind about how music functions in movies and how much better it is when good scores are there.
Do you think you can give an example of that in a Disney movie? Like, it could be any that you can, like, think of.
In a Disney movie?
Yeah.
I mean, I can jump off of Star Wars, which is not the current Star Wars.
I mean,
That's
it's still
now
Disney.
Yeah. But in my class, obviously, John Williams is, like, big name. We went over a couple of his movies. And there's, like, these funny things on YouTube where you watch iconic scenes but minus the tracks, and you realize how awkwardly not awesome they are. Because like they played the ceremony scene at the end of
Luke and Leia.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know what
movie that is. I want to say that's okay. I was like,
I'm bad at the titles.
1, 4, 5. I think maybe it was 5.
Possibly 5.
I think episode 5. Correct me if I'm wrong, which I probably am. I'm sorry, I'm not that big of a Star Wars nerd, okay?
Yeah.
But I think it's 5.
But they're playing like the ceremony scene.
Yeah.
And that's like part of John Williams' iconic big brass, super, like not elegant, but just huge brass band in the background. And it just shows how heroic they are walking down. And then you watch the YouTube clip without it, and obviously they add funny side effects like people coughing and crickets. But it's just so awkward to realize that, oh, this scene isn't that cool without that.
Yeah.
So
like the music is a very, very big factor to what makes a movie a movie.
Right. And having it memorable too. Because there's also examples like, oh, can you hum something from Harry Potter? And everyone can obviously hum something from Harry Potter.
Can you hum something from Up?
Yeah, stuff like that. Just when composers like go out of their way to make it special and not necessarily, I guess, predictable. Because then they show like examples of, okay, can you hum something from Iron Man?
You asked me this last time. I was really disappointed that I couldn't actually.
And then can you hum something from Thor?
No, definitely not.
So stuff like that. It's like, okay, you know that there was music in the movie, but it wasn't memorable enough to
I feel like in
add to the
superhero
experience.
movies, they don't really have like the same latch that say like Disney and their animated does, or even like live action nowadays. With the exception being Guardians of the Galaxy. That
But
being
also,
like the only one.
Like the original Superman, people know how to hum that theme song.
Really?
Yeah.
Like what?
The Don't ask me. People know how.
Not me. Not you. That's fair though. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
But going back to Colby's question, which one do you think and I pulled up the Renaissance movies, which are the old school ones that we grew up with. So there's The Little Mermaid, The Rescue is Down Under, Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, Lion King, Pocahontas, Hunchback of Notre Dame, Hercules, Mulan, and Tarzan. And which one do you think out of those has the best soundtrack in your opinion? I feel like, ooh, that's hard because I feel like my top 3, which unfortunately, I'm sorry, Colby, my answer does not include Hunchback. In no particular order, just because I can't. No, you know what? I will put an order to it. I really like the Little Mermaid one, and I think there's a small bias because we used to play it in band.
And or sing it in our free time.
Serious. Well, it's funny because the next one I was gonna say is Mulan.
There we go.
Which we definitely did sing in our free time. And then the last one it's like oh my god, they're really good. I was gonna say Hercules, but I think Aladdin was like one of my more favorite ones too. So we kind of altered your question. I'm sorry, Colby, but I can't. If I had to choose one, I feel like Little Mermaid for me probably would be my favorite.
And that's for like
for the Renaissance movies. It's like the older ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would have to say this is my personal bias is Hercules because that is my childhood movie.
Yeah.
Where even to this day, that is my go-to movie. If I'm like, what do I want to watch today? Something that makes me feel good. It's always Hercules. And I would say because for me, the music stands out from the other Disney movies because I feel like the rest of them follow more like a almost Broadway-esque kind of feel of how like there's always going to be a love song that
yeah, definitely
beautiful
like
and then
typical tropes you see in Broadway.
And but for Hercules it just was like it's like a fun diva band, just background narration and the muses. We are the muses, you know? And so that would have to be my top. After that, I would have to say Pocahontas.
I knew you were going to say that,
the music purpose, because I also just recently watched that because my parents bought that for me for my birthday gift. Because we're trying to collect all the old movies because I have them on VHS, but, you know, those don't exist anymore.
I bet you there are some people listening and be like, what's a VHS? I've never seen one before.
I know. What do you do with this?
Yeah, I'm like, oh, no.
But just... if you have not rewatched that in your adult life, I recommend you do because I actually was tearing up on just the music alone, not even the movie scenes.
Oh my god!
Because she sang "Colors of the Wind," and granted, I am more emotional when it comes to movies, but rewatching that, I was just like, wow, this is so powerful that she's obviously these are Disney analogies and romanticizing a lot of the things she's singing about.
Yeah.
But it really hit home, and her voice, just everything about that.
It's beautiful. So great.
And then, I guess
that's funny because one of the other questions that one of the other Slack people asked was from Sandra. Sandra says stuff. She asked, name a movie that always makes you cry. So is Pocahontas your answer, or do you have another one?
No, that one was more of like a tear up. Like it hit me emotionally for the lyrics and the song. But the first 10 minutes of Up would
I know Up. It always happens to be playing the soundtrack. I love the soundtrack.
I guess. Well, is that Disney?
Disney Pixar.
Okay.
Technically it counts, yeah.
I guess what's a Disney movie?
Oh, like so not included Pixar that you tear up to? I was gonna say Up too, just because I remember when that movie first came out and we were all watching it in the band room.
Yeah.
And we were all crying. We were all just sitting there. I think it was after like a band competition or even like during class or something like that on a rainy day. We'd have the movie playing up there because the soundtrack is beautiful.
Yes.
And, like the first 10, 15 minutes is just ooh, that's a rough one.
Yeah. And oh my gosh.
I don't know.
What's the composer's name again? Is it Michael?
Michael Giacchino.
Yes.
Love him.
The fact that he made the audience cry with the theme song,
like
just
no
changed
vocals.
Changed a couple keys, like that's what helps make movies.
Yeah, definitely. Which is why you see him do so much now.
Yeah. There was no words, just makes you cry with just his music.
I feel like my answer would be that way too. But in terms of like old school Disney, like 2D, I don't
2D Disney.
It is because if you think about it, like they are transitioning over. You haven't really seen a 2D movie as of late. They're all going live action, or they're doing the 3D CG one. I don't know, man. I can't really think of one that.
Can you go down the list again?
Well, for the Renaissance ones, that's just Renaissance. It's not the originals. It's not. I can look up the entire list of
of originals.
Oh my goodness, list of Disney movies. Because like Wikipedia will have everything.
That's true.
I'm trying to think of like all the old ones. There's Lion King, Snow White, Little Mermaid.
Because I feel like none of the princess movies made me cry.
Yeah, none of them made me cry either. There's Mulan. I loved Mulan growing up anyways. I have a short story on that. When I used to watch it as a kid, like back when I used to live in LA, and I would stay at my grandma's house, I remember watching it, and it was the scene where she cuts her hair off and it's super short. And I think it's for like the longest time where if you look at my like baby pictures, you'll see that I have like super, super high bangs. It's because I took scissors to my hair and I had chopped off my hair like Mulan. But then it's like one of those like videos you see now where somebody's trying to like cut their hair on their own and then it just comes up super crooked. So I went up to my grandma, my mom, look at Mulan. What are you doing? And you just see my like crooked bangs. Oh, it was so good. Oh my god.
Did you do?
Yeah, for real. They got mad at me. Oh my goodness. It was really funny though. I mean, like in retrospect, maybe not at the time where they were angry at me.
That's so funny.
But that was probably
Oh, no, I found it. I looked up Wikipedia list.
I just found out what mine was too, actually. But you go first.
I guess two solid ones.
Okay.
No, take that back. One solid one.
Okay.
Dumbo. The mom scene.
Oh, yeah.
Where she's singing Baby of Mine.
I think I was too young to really understand it until I watched it a little bit later. I'm like, oh, that's what's happening.
And he has this big little tear that comes out. Ooh. She's like, and it's blanking on her name. Mary Poppins.
Julie Andrews.
Yeah, she sings that song.
Oh, that's her?
Yep.
Oh, I didn't know that was her.
That's why it just really hits home.
It does.
Sound of Music meets Mary Poppins.
Yes, I love it. My answer has to be The Fox and the Hound. That one, as a kid, I was like, this is messed up. This is gonna this is a really sad one. Like, cause it's just like they're two best friends.
And and it's more about the friendship side.
Yeah.
That's why I think I like Dumbo. I think both of our answers were good because Dumbo was like the family side and that's like friendship side.
Yeah, definitely. And then, then those are the things that kind of like hit home for a lot of people. And that's what they do, honestly. There was a question that kind of pertained to that, because we're kind of on the topic of like older movies. Before I get into a little bit of an ad read in a bit, it's from the Slack. It's at TK. Thank you for your question. It says, "What was the first?" He says, "What is the first Disney movie you saw? Is it your favorite? If you can recall, what was the first one?" Because I know mine, ironic to what you just said, was Mary Poppins.
Nice.
That was my first one, and I remember I loved it. It was my favorite at the time. It's probably not my favorite now. It's still a really good movie, but at the time it was definitely my favorite. And I watched it so much to the point where I broke the VHS.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so I was really upset.
From memory, my first one is Hercules. I think that's
and
why
that one's still your favorite.
That's why I have the bias, because I distinctly remember me being little and in my dad's old Explorer, where I would ask him to rewind the tape so he could re-listen to the whole
That's so
the
cute.
whole album again.
Oh, I never had the albums growing up. I just had the movies.
The little
Yeah, the little
tapes
cassette ones. Yeah,
that you can put in cars.
that's so cute. Yeah, I never had the cassette tapes. I think I only had the VHS, and then not even maybe, I had the books.
Yes.
Like the little golden books and stuff like that. That's what I had.
Oh
yeah.
man, golden books.
Ooh, they still
Throwback.
exist, right? So I'm gonna take a quick break, really quick, to talk to you guys about some of our sponsors here at the radio station. So if you guys will allow me to indulge for a moment, because these are really important people. They support the radio station, and we really appreciate everything that they're doing here for us and sponsoring us. So just so you guys know, the best place to see your favorite artist perform is in the unique venue of the House of Blues. It's small enough that everywhere is close to your dream band, while large enough to make it a party. You can check out this month's lineup and more at thehouseofblues.com. And if for those of you guys who live on campus, you are here Thursdays from 12 to 1, we are typically giving away tickets from House of Blues as well as the North Park Observatory. We have the tickets that we give away from them, and we're gracious to them for helping us out. And I love that you guys go and support them and check out all the artists that visit them. You can come catch us Thursdays from 12 to 1, and also go on KCR's website and see what they have given for us to give away, so that you guys can also enjoy the great and wonders that is House of Blues. But if you're not really feeling concerty kind of things, and you're kind of hungry and you need a burger or a brew, the gourmet burgers, appetizers, craft brews, and cocktails are waiting for you at the New Eureka restaurant in the South Campus Plaza. It's open every night until midnight, and it's a great place to begin or end the night. And we actually just came from there recently. Like literally before the show.
5 minutes before the
like
show.
5 minutes. No, it wasn't like 5 minutes. It was more like 10.
And then getting locked out.
And then getting
Made it 5.
no. So thank you again so much for sponsoring us. Really go out there and support them, because they support us, and we really, really appreciate them. So, how are you doing in terms of like water, potty break? You good? You're good? Okay. So we'll keep going. So like I said, if you guys want to tweet me any questions, go ahead and tweet me at KCR Tishtalk. Like I said, if you guys are just tuning in, we are talking about everything Disney. So definitely send stuff our ways. We have plenty of questions here, but we will definitely take more questions. And if you guys want to be on the air, definitely give us a call at the studio phone. It is 619-594-6982. Again, 619-594-6982. So if you guys want to jump in on the conversation, definitely join us. We'll love it. We'll have a lot of fun. We've been really on the topic of Disney soundtracks.
We were.
It's great. It's funny because TK also asked another question where he asked our best, what in our opinion is the best Disney soundtrack, and I will give the caveat where it's Disney and Disney Pixar. So like everything. What is your favorite? It can be, everything. Like if you were to buy a CD of the soundtrack, which I've done before, which is the one to be like, this is the one. This is my favorite, absolute favorite. If you have one, or do you need time to think? It sounds like she needs time to think. Because I already have an answer for sure.
You go for it. Go for it.
My favorite has to be Michael Giacchino's The Incredible soundtrack. Because that is my ultimate favorite.
That's awesome.
When it comes to, I mean, like, I think overall Disney is probably my favorite.
We played that in band, didn't we?
We did.
Okay.
I don't know if you remember, but when we got the sheet music for it, I was like, yes. And I can go through, and you can see where our parts were like melody and like the undertones and all this. Oh my gosh. Yeah, when that movie came out, I went crazy.
And they're making a new one.
And you're You'll catch me up at the front in the line at the theater.
Yes.
I'll be there. Promise. Yeah. Do you have any answer? No.
I would say Up Again.
Up Again.
Just, I think piano hits home with me, and
Yeah.
his whole soundtrack was just so solid on that
It
one.
really was. It's one of my favorite ones for the for Pixar,
Yes.
with the exception of Incredibles. I can't help it, man. It's my
But just
favorite.
him. Anything by him is good.
Yeah, that's definitely true. Man, I'm trying to like look at all the questions. I feel like last week's guest Josh from at Bang Pinoy sent me literally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8 questions. You sent me 8 questions, Josh, and everything that you sent me. So you're gonna be the last one for me to address because there's just so many. So we'll kind of get to the other ones. The other ones are kind of a little bit more. Oh, this will be interesting. From Aaron at the Slack, he asked, "What is your favorite Disney villain song, and why is it Hellfire?" Which I think is from Hunchback.
That is Hunchback.
I remember a friend of ours, Cameron, really likes that song too. That's his favorite too.
Really?
Yeah, and he said it's just like if you, as an adult, if you listen to it and you watch the scene, you're like, wow, that's what he's talking about. I'm like, oh, you're right. I remember watching it. I just didn't really like that movie because it scared me. But which is true though, because it is a kind of like very much one of the darker movies that they had during the Renaissance period.
And it was more, I guess like adult.
It was definitely a lot more adult.
Yeah, like that song. Like to be honest, I don't remember that song watching it as a kid, but then rewatching it as an adult, I was like, this is not for kids.
Yeah, it's not. I'm like, oh, that's the thing that's happening.
Yeah. So you should rewatch Hunchback if you have not as an adult.
Yeah, honestly, like when I rewatched it as an adult, I actually appreciated it a lot more. As a kid growing up, it wasn't my favorite. Just because
do like
it was really
her
dark.
song though, in that.
Esmeralda. Yeah. I had to think
Confident.
Thank you. I'm a radio host for something, right? So, do you have a favorite
villain song? I guess on the more recent side, I would say Tangled's.
Mother Knows Best.
Yeah, Mother Knows Best, because it was more on the Broadway side, but it showed, I guess, like the definition of trust issues.
Yeah. I like how it was
good.
very creative.
Yeah.
It was good. That was a good one. I think my favorite, it's a tie between Ursula's Poor Unfortunate Souls and the Voodoo Man / Dr. Felicier's Friends from the Other Side.
Yeah.
Those are like my 2 favorites. Just because I love I love the sass that is in
they're very
Poor
like
Unfortunate
jazzy.
Souls. Yeah, that's probably the reason why I really like them too. Like especially just because like the Louisiana jazz and Friends on the Other Side. Like that's probably one of the reasons why it's like one of my favorites for sure. But yeah, there was another question, and I feel like Josh asked it, and yeah, okay, we'll address one of them because it has to do with it. But Josh from at Bank Pinoy, he asked, which Disney villain would you want to be, and which villain do you think your friends think you'd be? So we'll kind of do it this way. It's like, which one do you think you would be, and then I'll tell you what I think you would be, and vice versa.
Okay. Perfect, because we're friends.
Because we're friends,
and we can do that
exactly
on the air.
Especially because we've known each other for so long. I think we haven't. But yeah, do you have like a preference in which villain would you kind of want to be? Not thinking of like their unfortunate demise, just more like the character itself.
Because they are built to be cunning. And,
yeah, definitely.
I'm
playing right now. Okay.
Do you have one ready?
Kind of.
Okay.
Initially, when I first got this question, I was going to say Dr. Felicier, but actually, I would rather be Hades. Yes. He's a god. He's a god, for God's sake. I think,
and he's funny,
and he's really funny. And he's like, in terms of villains, he's pretty like manipulative in a sense. And so I think I would choose to be Hades. And again, he's a god, so I think that kind of he has the upper hand on most of the other villains.
Right.
So, do you have one? Do you think of one that I would be?
Yeah.
Really?
I think I have to cut it down between 2 of them.
I don't know. Ooh, you got us stumped on this one, Josh. I'll give you that.
I know, this is a cool question.
Yeah, it's a good question. I want to say for you.
Let me look at a list of movies again.
Right?
Just to have a wider pick.
As like a variation, I feel like no, I won't say that one. Because I saw one of the movies, I was like, no. Darn. There's so many, that's the thing. There's so many really, really good villains. And which is like really cool about Disney is that they have a really very, very written out really, really good characters in terms of like character development, but also just like story wise.
Okay, I think for you, I would probably say Captain Hook.
Really?
Yeah.
I'll take it. Can you say why?
I think it's just I don't know, I guess the energy around the character. I feel like you guys are more on the same page.
I get interesting.
And I guess your like ticking alligator would be like blueberries or something.
I've accepted that though. It's my brand. I've honestly accepted. I want to say for you. See, I don't know why. Ironically, because I keep maybe it's because we just mentioned it. But I don't want to say her either. I was gonna say
I won't be offended.
no. I'm not trying to offend you. I was gonna say Ursula.
Oh yes, I'll take that.
Just because it reminds me in the beginning of the scene where she's like, she means to help people. I mean, you help people,
right?
And then at the same time, it's also like there's a lot more behind it too. I don't know. I don't explain. But I think
cool octopus.
You're
lady.
A cool octopus lady. Yes, I like it.
Side note: I'm a marine bio.
That too.
So.
Maybe that's another reason why I kept thinking about it. I'm like, I feel like Ursula's a good fit. You'd like to live with the fishes.
And she sings so sassy.
With your body language.
But unfortunate souls.
Exactly.
Like that. Yeah.
Did you think of one for you though that you'd want to be? Yeah, I think the sass. I think that's probably why.
Let me see.
While she's thinking about that, goodness gracious, there's so many questions. And I know that I saw another one pop up too.
Ooh.
So many.
Okay, I got it.
Okay.
I would be the I don't know his name, but in Toy Story 3, the bad strawberry smelling bear.
Oh, Mr. Snuffleupagus. That's not it. That's a
Muppet.
No, it's not.
Snuffleupagus is the big elephant thing
from Sesame Street.
Oh, I said Muppet, but that's totally what I was thinking.
I was like, wait, what? No.
I would be him because
Toy Story 3. What's the bear? He smells like strawberries.
Yeah.
Which is really cool because when they sell the merchandise for him, he smells like strawberries.
Make him smell like strawberries.
I'm gonna look him up. Bear from.
But I think I would be him because if I were to be evil, I would like to be fluffy on the outside.
Lotso.
Because he's Lotso hugs.
Yeah. Right? Lots of hugging bear.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's his thing where he likes to hug a lot of people. Yeah.
So you'll be deceptively huggy and outwardly friendly, but deep down you're like, I'm plotting to destroy all of you. You know?
Yes. I can see that. Yeah. There's so many. There's so many questions. We'll kind of knock out some of the other ones.
Spitfire through all of them.
Okay, we can spitfire them. From at Chelsea W, who is the most underrated Disney character? IMO. So you can't spitfire them because there's so many movies.
I know. I'll keep this list out in front of me.
I know, this is what I keep doing too, and I'm like, I don't know.
So underrated character of all time?
I guess so. I guess you could also say that it includes
I got this one.
Pixar.
This is Disney. That I think the whole movie itself, Atlantis.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people remember that movie.
That's definitely.
It is
it's not even
solid,
on this list. Not gonna lie.
I would say Milo and Kita. You
yes.
gotta.
Oh, you know what? To follow up with that, my answer is Lilo and Stitch, because I feel like a lot of people know Stitch, but like the movie wise, not a lot of people talk about it.
That's true.
Yeah. Like.
Well, I guess it also turned into a show, and people watched the show more than.
But even the show, I didn't feel like was super popular either. They're like, I watched it because, and it kind of ties into one of the other questions that we'll get to later. I kind of like related to it, and not just because I look like the small character.
And you wear her for Halloween.
I wear it. It was perfect. Okay, we did that one. We did that one. And these ones will kind of be a little bit more interesting. From @Nick Fireball from the Slack, what are some of Disney's flops that you enjoy?
So flops as in
like movies that didn't do very well, which is like kind of, I don't know, it's kind of hard. Like I liked all the Disney movies. I don't think in terms of like I don't know if it's like popularity or more like money wise, but I loved The Princess and the Frog. I don't know if it did very well in the box office though.
I don't remember it either.
Yeah, so that might be that's my answer then. If anything,
Yeah.
if that's considered underrated, Princess and the Frog for me. I love that movie. It came out when we were in high school, and I was just like playing the soundtrack always. But it's because like that soundtrack is a killer. I love the jazz.
New Orleans.
Yeah,
I would say I don't remember how well it did, but I don't remember it being super popular at the time.
Mm-hmm.
I would say Wall-E.
Oh,
Because I heard, for some reason, a lot of backlash on it was that because they're robots, not a lot of people got the movie. But I personally really liked it.
I feel like for that movie, you really had to like understand what you're watching, kind of, because it was just more like it wasn't about humans no longer can live. It's like about like I don't know. Well, ironically, the humanity that you can see
and
within like robots and stuff.
Like hopefulness.
Yeah, like it's all about hope.
Yeah, I really liked it.
Yeah, I think so. To kind of follow up with that though, because we've been talking about a lot about what we personally like. From Colby, he asked, "What's Disney's biggest mistake?" And that for me is kind of hard. Again, hard because I don't really know.
I can add it. For me, this will hit probably a sore spot. I was not the biggest fan of Frozen.
Oh, really? Okay.
I don't think their story was as strong as
the hype
other
came
stuff.
out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because the hype was so big the month before, and like the songs were released too.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, going in knowing the whole movie, and then they finally put it together, and it was kind of like, oh.
You're like, oh, this is it. Okay.
Yeah. It wasn't my favorite.
I know a lot of people don't actually like it.
I think
aside from the fact that the soundtrack would play everywhere.
Yeah. I think the songs are great, but I think the storyline is one of those that are like
the weaker ones.
Kid oriented.
Yeah. And I think that kind of just serves as like a testament where it's like Disney is beginning to adjust to please the audiences in different ways rather I mean like they're still doing fantastic with like their writing and they're clearly like their casting and they're like everything else. But like every now and then they can afford to kind of create stuff where it's just like this is clearly just going to appeal to this type of audience, which they have is big enough, and that they're okay. You know what I mean? I don't want to say it's the biggest mistake just because I haven't watched it, but I remember when it first came out. What's the dinosaur movie?
Oh, Good Dinosaur.
The Good Dinosaur.
Yeah.
It was the weakest one that Pixar had created, and it was the one that did the worst in the box office.
Yeah. I actually watched that one.
Did you like it?
That one is for sure
made
for kids.
Okay, which is funny because I remember one of the guys from my work, he was saying that his kid really loved the movie, and he was surprised that I told him that. And I'm like, but I heard that, like, you know, like even statistically so, it wasn't the strong one.
It like obviously went straight to like into a kid book and then kid merchandise.
Yeah, it definitely
was like for that audience.
You know what? That's interesting because when we're talking about merchandise, we didn't talk about one that is like hardcore. The franchise, again, haven't seen the last one, so I can't say. The Cars franchise, which is like number one Disney's franchise, like in terms of like merchandise, that's number one selling for them because you can sell so many of those little cars, and like kids love that.
Yeah.
The second one we just don't speak of at all. That's
one didn't exist.
I changed my answer. That one. That is my answer. This supposed Cars 2 is Disney's biggest mistake because I can't. There's no reason for it.
Because of the hype of the first one, I think they had room to make a second one.
I heard the third one made up for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because trailer already rips your heart out.
Yeah, it does.
In 5 seconds, you know?
I remember when they first came out, people were like genuinely concerned, and then they had their kids crying in the theater because they just watched Lightning McQueen possibly die.
Yeah.
I was like, oh no.
Well, that's good.
So
That's
bad.
a good attention grabber,
Right?
opposed to, what were they? They were spies in...
I just remember there was a scene where he's like, "Is that pistachio ice cream?"
Yeah,
And then
that honestly was the thing I was about to say. Because that's the only thing that was memorable. Hey, don't eat the pistachio ice cream.
Isn't that worth it? Yeah, that's the only one. I'm sorry, man. That's not. Ooh, no. All right.
That was not good.
Yeah, nope. Okay, so we're gonna get into. Josh, you're getting a special treat because you just have so many questions for us. Again, if you guys want to send me any more questions, go ahead and tweet me at KCR Tishtalk. We will love it if you guys give us a call. We're coming up almost on the 10-minute, a little bit more than 10 minutes left on the show. So we'll kind of spitfire this a little more as possible. We kind of did talk about our favorites, but if you had to rank your top 3 favorite films, what would they be? And you can include Pixar too. I feel like I can answer this while you think. For sure, number 1 has to be The Incredibles because I have a very, very, very dear place in my heart. Mulan has to be my second one. My third one, I want to say, I want to say as of late has to be Moana.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. As of late has to be Moana.
Yeah,
Those are like
I can
my
see
top
that.
3. I feel like Incredibles was like a pathway for me to like really honestly loving superheroes and like Marvel and DC and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Even because I didn't grow up with that as a kid because I grew up as the only granddaughter. So a lot of my cousins were more into sports or into cars or one of my oldest cousin and my first cousin Kuirami. He shout out to Kuirami, Rambo's 5G. he actually used to do radio, ironically. Like he used to have his own radio show.
That's awesome.
Which hopefully one of these days I'll have him on here because he's a really, really big Star Wars nerd. So that was his thing. So I didn't really get into any of that stuff, and it wasn't until later that I liked superhero things, and I feel like Incredibles was a really big lead in. Not only that, but like family orientation wise.
Yeah.
We have enough people in my family that was like the same amount of number in the Incredibles family. So one of these days, I want to like have our family cosplay as that because I would love that.
Yeah.
Maybe next year. That'd be
The
cool.
little Filipino version.
Yes.
Like it.
I wish we did it as kids, but I don't think it's. I mean, like I think we're never that coordinated.
That's true. Oh yeah, because Brandon's too tall now to be the.
Oh yeah. I mean, we'll still do it. We'll just have him like wear like a cone on his head or something for Jack. Because it was like Dad was obviously. I can't carry him. He's towering over me now.
Is twice Tish's height.
He's not twice my height. He's just towering over me now.
2.5 times her
No,
height.
he's not.
Just kidding.
But yeah, those are my top 3: Incredibles, Mulan, and Moana as a late. So
I would say Hercules, obviously. I know I said it a billion times already because that's just the homeboy.
Yeah.
The next one is Pixar Disney, Monsters Inc.
Oh,
I think.
Kitty.
Also, yeah, I think Boo is like Filipino based too.
Is she really?
I think so.
I dig it.
And and then Wreck-It Ralph, I think.
I was playing the
Because-
soundtrack from that earlier.
Because it was just so out of the box when it first came out.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's
I
just
know,
so
actually.
cool to bring back all your childhood video games.
Yeah,
And put them
when
in a
that first
movie.
came out, I was like, that is really,
Yeah.
and they did it enough where it's like the big video game characters like Sonic and Mario and
Yeah.
stuff like that. They really only made small appearances, even like Pac-Man.
Yeah.
Like, and it wasn't enough where it overpowered the original characters,
Yeah.
which was great.
Yeah.
And their casting was really good for that too.
Yeah, I really
I want
like
to
that.
play the. I like this one.
And the story was really good.
It was cute. I love it. That's something
more
that I would
friendship,
definitely.
friendship
Yeah.
trust
Mm-hmm.
movie also.
Okay, was that 3?
Yeah,
Or was that 2? That was
yeah. So I
What was-
started with Hercules.
okay. So Hercules.
Monsters Inc.
Monsters Inc.
and
Wreck-It Ralph.
Wreck-It
Okay,
There we go.
All right. Let's see. Who are some of the best supporting characters in a Disney film? Let's do like the best supporting character. I feel like
The best.
every time I feel like I just have to bring back up the list of movies. Oh, I know. Best supporting character for me has to be the genie from Aladdin. That has to be
Yep.
it for me. For sure. I was gonna say Mushu, but no. Aladdin. And and Genie have to
Yeah,
be like the
I would
top.
say that too.
Okay. R.I.P. Robin
I
Williams.
know.
If they do a live action of that, I'm gonna be really sad just because it's not the same.
It won't be the same.
And I think they know that too, though.
Yeah.
We kind of talked about it too, as we're coming up on time. Are there any other stories or from your own or your friends' cultural background that you want to see in a Disney film? So we're both Filipino, and we've kind of seen a little bit more like Pacific Islander-y kind of things in Lilo, and as of late as Moana, which is one of the reasons why I really like it. Would you be interested in seeing something that's a little bit more Filipino based? You have like, which they have been doing culturally in terms of like movies. Like you have Coco that just recently came out,
Right.
which I really want to see because it's
I
really
do
all
too.
about
That
like
looks-
Dia de los Muertos.
Yes.
And it looks amazing.
Yes.
And then even before that, you had Princess and the Frog, and it's all about like Louisiana and like the jazz and also the voodoo.
Yep.
Is that some for I guess for us being Filipino Americans, like, is that something that you'd be curious to see in a movie? I don't really know what they would do.
I totally would be. I'd be on the same track. I don't know what direction they would take it, but lately, I don't know if you've seen, but on Facebook and just on the internet in general, a lot of Filipino Americans are kind of looking back and being like, what is our identity? Because, you know, back in history, we're sort of like erased. I think it would be cool to have Disney kind of shine light on that because even just like with Princess and the Frog, they just did a community based.
Not so much like everything.
Right.
Yeah.
It was like New Orleans. I think that's a cool idea too. And Moana is just one set of Pacific Islander kind of
and they
culture.
even from that, they took from a bunch of different cultures and they kind of created one. So I think there was one primary that they based on, but they did take they did a lot of research behind it.
Right. I think it would be really cool to see something Filipino based.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree. I think it's just that'd be a lot of digging for them to get into. Oh my goodness, there's so many questions still. We're coming up on time. We're gonna kind of combine these two. Josh asks, what is the current best live action film that there has been released, and why is it High School Musical 2? And then in a similar vein, what is the best Disney Channel original movie? And again, why is it High School Musical 2? I think Josh's answer is High School Musical 2. Jeez, dude.
Someone likes High School
I
Musical
think so too. That is not my answer, although as much as I enjoyed that. I think in terms of live action for me, I think the one that I really enjoyed. Ooh, I like Maleficent, but I don't want to say that's my answer. Let me see. Disney live action movies. We're gonna look it up really quick as we're coming up on time here. I actually have not seen Beauty and the Beast either. I haven't seen a lot of them.
I think it was good. It's not my favorite.
Really?
It's a good remake. More Broadway. They made it a little more Broadway too.
Oh.
I did like Cinderella.
Cinderella was cute, but I didn't think it was like strong. You know what? I think my answer is still Maleficent. Actually, that's probably has to be my favorite live action. And in terms of, do you have one for original movie? Disney was Hocus Pocus Disney original?
I think so. Anything that was Disney Channel first.
Yeah,
I think that was. I would say like Halloween Town.
Yeah, you know what? That has to be. That has to be one because Hocus Pocus kind of scared me, but I liked Halloween Town. Did you like Do you have like the first one or the 1, 2, 3, or 4? I think the first one is still my favorite.
It's the first one.
Yeah,
the OG.
The OG. We probably watched that at your house at one point during Halloween. I wouldn't be surprised. Okay, and we kind of talked about Broadway too as we're coming 5 minutes. What Disney animated film would you want to see jump from film to stage?
Ooh.
I want to see a Hercules one.
I would love to see
amazing.
Hercules. Let's see.
That'd
Rachel
be
mentioning Hercules count tonight. Probably 20. But I think that would be so fun.
That'd be a lot of fun, especially because if you like had like the muses off to the side and they're like narrating everything.
Yep.
Ooh, Hercules from both of us?
Yes.
Okay, that's a Hercules from both of us.
Final answer.
Yes, final answer.
Someone please do that. Please.
That'd be great. This is the last one from Josh at Bank Pinoy. Thank you for your questions, Josh, and thank you for the spam. Love you. If you've ever done a Disney cosplay before, which character did you go as? And if you've done multiple, which one is your favorite? Have you done any for Disney?
I've done a few.
Which one have you done?
I've done Lilo.
Me too.
Let me see. Going back into childhood.
Right. I think we have a good question to end of the night, as you're thinking. For me, I think the only one I've really done has been Lilo, which is easily my favorite because I just wore the dress and walked around with the Stitch doll.
Yep.
It was easy. One that I do plan on doing in the future, and I actually did want to do it this year, I just didn't have the time, and I've
Yeah.
been wanting to plan for it, was Ping, Mulan.
Yes.
But
We
Ping
were talking
version.
about that.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's the one I've been wanting to do. I might do it for Halloween. We're coming up on it last couple of minutes. So can you think of one?
No, let's
No?
just skip.
Okay.
I pass.
We have one last question. I think it would be kind of a fun way to end the night from TK again. In the vein of the Descendants, who would be your Disney parents? So if you didn't know, the Descendants is like I think like the recent movie of Disney, and they have like these kids.
Original.
Yeah,
Original.
Disney original, where it's talking about the kids of villains and also like characters, and they all go to the same school or whatever like that. So if you had to choose, who would be your Disney parents?
And is it like you can combine them? Or you're just picking one? Like, this is my dad.
I don't know. For
Like-
time's sake, let's say combining them.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think combining Ursula as my mom, that would be super cool.
Yeah.
And then I think I have to stick with Hades.
That'd be pretty dope.
He'd be a cool dad.
I think for me, you don't have to stick to villains, by the way. It can be any.
Oh.
Yeah. I
Is
think
it Descendants from...
it is, but there are also
but
characters that
there's
have
good-
like
yeah.
No,
I'll stick with the bad.
Okay.
I like bad.
that's funny. Okay,
fine.
I'll do the opposite. I'll do the good then.
Okay.
For good parents, I would say I'd love Tiana to be my mom because she
Ooh.
ran a restaurant. She's all about hardworking, and she just like cooking wise. I'd love to learn that from her.
Yes.
Dad wise, I probably want Aladdin, just because like he knows like he's street smart.
Yeah.
He can teach you how to the ins and outs and all that good stuff. I think that's just my personal opinion.
Yeah.
But yeah. Well, we're coming up on time. We have about a minute left. Rachel, thank you so much for coming on
Yes,
air
thank
with
you for having me.
It's a lot of fun. Thank you everybody who sent us so many questions. Love you guys for it. This has been KCR College Radio. You're listening to the award-winning Sound of State here at San Diego State University. Like I said, you can catch us on air at AM 1610 for those of you who live in the area. Everybody else, go to kcrlive.com, where we stream worldwide online 24/7. And if you have Android or iOS devices, definitely download the TuneIn app, search up KCR College Radio, and then follow us on all the social medias at KCR College Radio. I have been your host for this evening, Tisha Mora. You can follow me at KCR Tishtalk on all the socials as well. And I am on air Friday nights at 8. Catch me then. Next week is going to be a big crossover week for us here at the station. I will be on Brett and Mackie from 10 to noon Tuesdays, which is a big crossover, a very big show here at the station. And they're going to be my guests for next week. So definitely tune in. Send us a bunch of questions and suggestions for the show. We will greatly appreciate it, and tune in then. Thank you again so much, you guys. And you guys have a good night.
Good night.
Bye. Thanks, guys. Bye.